Aloha everyone, this is Dr. BethAnne. I am an author, an intuitive psychologist, and an empath, and I teach, coach, and mentor on developing our intuition. And on my YouTube station, I craft content for highly sensitive spiritual souls. So we have been talking about the theme of self-acceptance, and I'm actually going to take a different angle into that as we enter into this week and do an energy update on the week ahead, and then tie in the theme of self-acceptance. So I asked the angels what the energy was for the week ahead and a few other questions. I made a few notes, and I'm going to share with you what came through and then talk about how that relates to self-acceptance. So I am very clairvoyant. So when I asked the angels, what is the energy of the week ahead, the image that came through for all of us in our own individual ways, as if each of us has been a big river that's gotten kind of dammed up, like where there's been debris or like maybe a tree fell in or a buildup of mud. I just saw all this water that had been trying to flow but was having a hard time getting around the obstacles inside of it. And what I saw was all of that shifting. I saw some of the silt in the mud start to erode away. I saw more pathways and more channels and more energy moving and opening up. And it completely makes sense because last week Saturn has been in retrograde and it busted out. The shift happened on the 18th and 19th of September. I felt it, but it's been hanging out on the South Node, which is our karma and what we've been releasing and what we came into this lifetime to release. So what that's created for a lot of us is a sense of feeling blocked, or a sense of working really hard and not going anywhere, a sense of not flowing, a sense of old lessons coming up that we were invited to reckon with in a new way and to release. So there's energy opening up right now in the cosmos, which is really cool. And the image the angels gave me really echoed that. Things are starting to move again. They're starting to flow again. And the image wasn't like all of a sudden it totally opens up and there's a waterfall of movement. It was more just like finding the flow and starting to find a new flow. So that's the energy that's anchoring the week ahead. The next question I asked is, what can we do to work with the energy this week? And two things came through, actually three. One was just allow the process to happen. We are in a process right now, and we are all working through our lives and our own divine timing, our own soul timing, and some things just can't be rushed no matter how much we want to know or have it figured out. So there's an energy of like just really feminine energy of just allowing the process to happen and letting it happen and letting ourselves unfold and trusting. And then part two of that was a little bit more active, where they said, but if there's any obvious blocks that you can remove, go on ahead and do so. So on a really material way, if you have stuff in your week, like you've made an appointment and it feels really heavy to you and you need to cancel that because you're stressed out, remove the block, cancel the appointment. If you have something that you need to take care of and it's been hanging over your head, get it done, get it in the mail, press send, turn the check in, whatever it is. Look for any way that you can to unblock yourself, because when we've got like obvious unfinished business hanging around, it prevents our energy from free flowing because it's tied up in something else. So any obvious way that you can clear space, just in a practical way, go for it, do it. Clear that shit out. Let's keep making space for more flow to come through. And then the third piece that came through is symbolically, like you might want to do something cleansing in order to like just symbolize that purification or release. So you might want to burn some sage or like clean the kitchen, take out the trash, clean a corner of a house or a drawer or something like that. There's something that can feel really good. What's coming through right now is I'm just seeing all of us like dust off our doorstep like a witch would, just dust it off, dust that energy off, open up the windows, let new flow come in. That will symbolize helping that energetically, helping that water, helping our life force move and continue to flow. And then the last question I asked is, so how does all of this relate to self-acceptance? And I asked that because we've been talking about self-acceptance for the month of September, so I figured I would tie in this energy update to that. And what came through was Forgive yourself in the places where you haven't been able to flow. If you're like me, you have a tendency to wonder what you're doing wrong if something's feeling stuck, or you're not moving through something fast enough, or you're not moving through your process fast enough. It's kind of human nature to do that. And it's so important to forgive ourselves for a lot of the energy that was coming up during the Saturn retrograde, camping out in the South Node, all of that stuff. A lot of us did not move through that in the way that we had envisioned, and we had a lot of just dirt, sediment come up that we had to deal with. Forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself for the places in your life where there hasn't been flow, where you're not as far ahead as you want, where you failed to meet your own expectation of self. This is a beautiful place to practice self-forgiveness, self-compassion, to bring in higher perspective. That sometimes when we're umbrellaed under this cosmic energy of retrograding and kind of backtracking and going through something in order to create and clear better space, it can be really hard for us to transcend that energy. That's how energy works. It intersects with our own process. So a lot of times if something's going on in a more seasonal or cyclical way in the natural world and the star world, the astrological world, we will be subject to that, and we can't make ourselves bypass that or skip through that. It's a process, and part of what we signed up for to be is on Earth plane is to be part of that process. So the last piece I want to share with you is I grabbed a couple cards today from the Energy Oracle card deck. They're really fun, and what I do with the deck is I'll just sort of do this shuffle like this and see what cards fall out. And oh, this is what beautiful. 2 had already popped out and 1 more just did, so I'm going to share all of them with you. The 2 that fell out before I started this video was a man holding a heart and a woman holding a coin. And what I actually believe this represents is the union of our masculine and our feminine self. The heart is all about our emotions and our feminine, and being in touch with that. And I love that the card that fell out is the guy's the one holding it. That to me really speaks to the divine masculine. And then the coin represents more of the material plane in the physical world, and how do we manifest. And I love that the woman is holding it, because to me that's about divine feminine and intelligent manifestation. So I very much see these as encouraging each of us to continue to look at the spaces in our life where we can utilize both our divine feminine energy and our divine masculine energy, and where we can find healing to both of those parts of ourselves. And then when I was doing my sample shuffle, this is so awesome. The card that popped out is the Angel of Balance. A little message from Spirit of, yes, it's all about finding inner balance right now. There is a global healing going on our planet, and then on our individual hearts, but a healing that's coming through to our consciousness of unifying the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And we're seeing that come out because we've been really challenged in our concepts of what is femininity and what is masculinity, and what does it look like on a spiritual level to have a fully actualized divine masculine self and a fully actualized divine feminine self. And all of us are working through those energies in our own individual ways and learning about them in our life. And a healthy self has both of them in union inside. So we are marrying and unifying our mind and our heart and our willpower, and bringing all of that forth to create magic in the world. How cool, right? So with that, that concludes this week's energy update. There is a new moon coming in on Saturday in Libra. I'm really excited for it. It's all about balance, the divine feminine and masculine and duality. And have an amazing week. And I will be back here tomorrow with more content for highly sensitive spiritual souls. You can also find more of my work on my website, BethAnneKW.com. And please subscribe here if you haven't already and you want more content if this is resonating with you. Aloha and light. Be well, everyone.